love you to talk about your mahi in Southland with two big brains.
Yeah, go.
Tell me a story.
The late 1960s, Peter Coutts went into Southland repeatedly over summers with his wife, who's not mentioned at all in his PhD. 12 sites from the edge of TAIHOA, which is at the bottom of Murihiku, right around Fiordland, almost up to Piotahi, Milford Sound. 12 sites in our nohoaka, which are our food gathering sites. I've never been into the sounds, but I've seen footage that Alex Monteith and photographs that Mark Adams have taken, and watched with interest some of the fishing shows, because the fishing's amazing through there. So the fishing fleets leave from Aotearoa Bluff, and in a totally appropriate continuation of practices over hundreds and hundreds of years, that this is the rohe of the people of the Deep South. This is their food basket, and they go in and out, in and out. And today they still do, but they have motorised equipment, so post-industrial. They have fleets of ships, and in the capital economy, they're wealthy. Bluffies are wealthy. They have amazing fish, and it sells on a world market, and it's oyster season right now, and they're, part of being a Bluffy fishing family is that you follow the seasons. So there's the Titi season, because many families down there have connections to the Martin Bird Islands, and there's the oyster season, and then there's scallops, and there's, blue cod and barracuda and all kinds of fish. So Coutts is in there, and he's the very first person to read a PhD in a New Zealand university. So other PhDs have been excavated. So other digs have happened for other PhDs from different universities, but this is the very first archaeology PhD to be read in a New Zealand university. So Otago University, and his supervisor was your supervisor. And it was his very first PhD student too. So Prof Hyam had just come out from Oxford. So here we have Peter Coutts, who's come out from university in Melbourne. We have two non-New Zealanders laying down a korero about who we are in a place that they weren't especially familiar with. So I give Coutts his dues. He went into the area. He wasn't, passing on the work to other graduate students. He was doing the mahi himself. But the PhD is entitled The Emergence of Fiordland, Māori, Fiordland or Southland?
I can't remember.
From prehistory. So I found out in doing this mahi, which I'll describe, because I'm not an archaeologist, this terminology was foreign to me. Prehistory means the moment before you learn to write. Is that right?
Oh, I don't know.
So it's basically, it's meant to be an audit of contact era Indigenous people. So two things for me immediately. I've been called onto this project by an artist, because I'm an artist, so I have a different set of eyes. My indignance immediately stoked and seething. What do you mean we didn't have a written language? Because the assumption is that we weren't recording our stories by mark making. And yet we were.
By mark making is recognised by Europeans.
Right, it's not.
Who could read it? You read that one. I can't read it, therefore it's not writing. Yeah. even though there's cuneiforms and and ancient languages of that were
Yes, interesting, isn't
able
it?
to be interpreted. The other thing was that he didn't ask our permission. He went in and dug up our graves, disturbed our people's
Can I ask when
remains
this was?
in the late 60s.
Oh my goodness.
Yep, he didn't ask our permission. He basically went to our elders at Aotearoa and told them that he was going in and went in. So this project that's now ongoing and brings in the Hocken, because the Hocken have the last facsimile of his field notes. His original copies were lost in a flood in Hong Kong, because he lives in Asia now. Is multi-dimensional because it is brings in different disciplines, so museum, art gallery, university, non-academic. It also brings in descendants of the people whose remains are involved. So we have the Māori advisory at Southland Museum and Art Gallery, and me with my hands on the material, because I just know that they're my ancestors. We are in the south. We're all blood. We're all related to each other. I get that feeling whenever I go and even starting to talk about it. It's like I'm thrilled to be representing my ancestors' legacy, to be able to say things like, I know that archaeology has moved on. We've had the feminist wave. We've got more Indigenous practitioners now. There's a marked lack of people saying, after they say, oh, but that was how they used to do it, they need to also say, and it was shit. It was really awful what they did. It was awful that they disturbed your ancestors' remains. It's awful that they took their taoka away and we don't know where they've gone. It's awful that they elevated their own ego through disturbing something that was left alone for a reason. The reason that we didn't go back to that was when I'm not privy to that knowledge. And I don't know that I would want to share that anyway. I mean, it's like when you hear about people being left in an accident site and the accident site being blessed, and then people don't go back for generations. Or site of a battle. You don't go back. You leave it out of respect to those that have fallen. So
It becomes tapu.
exactly, tapu, which is a concept not foreign to European language speakers, because the word has been absorbed into those languages.
Tabu.
Right. Yeah. So restricted. Anyway, so we have had several waves of this ongoing project of taking the massive store of hundreds and hundreds, over 300 boxes of material that was brought out from Fiordland. Singularly important because it contains a lot of substrate, what archaeologists call spoil, what home gardeners call soil, but what we call whenua. And I think I'd like to reframe it too. I'd like to encourage archaeologists everywhere to acknowledge that it's whenua. Whenua, it has the DNA of my ancestors in it. It's got tiny specks of their skin and tiny drops of their blood and the odd fragment of keratin from their body. It's
And it has a spiritual memory.
totally.
Because that's really what we're talking about.
That's right. And we don't know what technology is available right now or is in emergence. We can expect that technology will develop, and there's every possibility that in the future those microscopic units of data, the flecks and specks of dust and whatnot in the whenua will tell us a whole new story.
Oh, I think that technology will eventually come.
Yeah, and whether
It's
or
just not there yet.
No.
Let us be one.